My hat! Alright, so now I can start installing the electronics. The very first thing, to be honest, is to just do the servo. And when you do the servo, all you have to do is, it's just these 4 screws here. And then when you mount this, just make sure this is in neutral position. You may have to run power to it, but make sure this is 90 degrees, so it's perpendicular to the floor, right, to where it mounts, to the chassis tub. This was already here. I had not removed this. So now all that I need to do, if I want to make it a little easier, is I can grab the ESC cable and I can just run it through here. Oops, there we go. All right. And ESC goes in number 2, so just make sure you plug this into channel 2. Be this way. So your servo will always be channel 1 and your ESC will be channel 2. Now you don't have to cover it up yet, but now you will just drop this in. You do not have to install it there right away, but I will. I find it easier. So I will just grab the arm and I will slide it in here. I just find it easier to take care of this part of the steering first. There. And then once that arm is here, that is here, I can go ahead and just mess it up. It was lined up, but I was trying to get a better take for the camera. Let me try it again. Now I have a screw in there. There it is. All right. Here we go. So something you can do is you can hold this and then just turn the wheels until it lines up. So now I just need to push it back slightly. Here we go. And then the screw should just slide in. And then tighten this one first, and that'll keep everything from falling out. Now, I'm not worried about the ESC dangling. It doesn't weigh that much, so I'm not concerned about it tearing the wire. But, yeah, try not to have it dangle. I'm just doing this for the camera. Normally, I wouldn't do this. Now, at this point, I can go ahead and attach, just flip this over, and attach this here. So that just has 2 screws, and there are these 2 countersunk screws. If you mix them up with the screws from the ESC screws are longer. That's how you would know. So just drive one in, do not tighten it all the way, drive the other one. Do not tighten it, well actually the second one you can tighten fully. And remember, they just have to be snug. Do not over tighten, you will damage the plastics. And that is it. Now for the ESC, because this is a XL5, it's going to be this hole and the inner hole. If you were installing a VXL, it would be those 2 holes, this one and the outer one. Right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and place the ESC. And the ESC, the XL5 portion, that's going to go toward you. And right now, I'm running the wire right between the tub and the ESC, and then I'm going to hold it with one hand, and I'm just going to pull the slack on the wire. So this is all I'm doing. I'm just getting it ready, and holding it here, I'm going to flip it, and then once you flip it, try to line up the holes. So again, it's going to be this one and that one. And just going to get that one started. And I really want to place the other one just to line it up. There we go. No, here for the ESC, not a big deal. I'm actually going to tighten this one all the way, and then I'll tighten the other one. And that is it for the ESC. The ESC is pretty simple when it comes to that. Once you have this, there's some little tabs in here. You want to make sure that the wires are sitting properly between them so that when you put the top cover on, you do not chew up the wires with the top cover. And then try to fold the excess wire in here. That's really the way to go. Once you have that, you can grab the top lid and just make sure you orient this correctly. The little rubber seal is actually at the bottom. Something that you can do too is you can place it, I'm trying to take it off, here we go. You can place it here just to make sure that it's mounted properly. And you can also just rub a little bit of petroleum jelly, dab some in here and then in there, just to have a good seal. That's the only reason why. And that's really the only way that you can get a good seal legally, because I'm pretty sure it's illegal to go to the ocean and pick up a seal. You cannot disturb wildlife. So, sea lions, sorry, they're out of reach. If you have a special permit like an aquarium, possibly, then you could have a different type of seal. You try searching for a better seal than what you already have. But here we go. So here it's just 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and you just drive these in, and this is it. Now, one of the things to note too is here the receiver does go on top. If you were able to, say, modify these vehicles, you could get rid of this entire thing if you were never going to experience water. And if you were running a shorter battery, because these are meant to take long Traxxas batteries as well, or if you're running, for example, nickel metal hydride batteries with, what is it, 7? I believe it's 7 cells, that will fit in here. But if you're running a shorter battery, so you're running a shorty pack or a low profile long, you would probably end up here, which means that you could install your receiver on this other side if you wanted to. That is a possibility. But this isn't really much weight. It's not going to make much difference, to be honest, because this car is so heavy. But here we go. So all we have left now is the motor. And the motor is actually pretty simple. First thing that you want to do is you want to look at the gearing chart. Now, if you have the stock gears, the stock gear, I'm trying to read this, 48 pitch, 70 tooth. So if you have a 70 tooth spur, and let's see, what's the stock? I would have to remove it to see the number. It's probably going to be about 20. Let's see. 21. 21, then you want to be at C. So make sure you just mount this up at C. If you end up replacing the pinion or the spur or both, you will more than likely have to turn this and then screw in the correct holes. So just make sure that you match the letters. So there's a letter on one side and there's another letter on the other. Just make sure you match them up and everything should be fine. But once this is mounted on, you just drop it in. But before I drop it in, I'm going to go ahead and plug these. And there's no power, so it doesn't matter if you do the positive or negative. And then once you connect them, and they're all the way through, this insulation here, you can see I kind of pulled it, just slide it over so that it creates a seal. This is part of what makes this waterproof. I'm going to call it water resistant. But this plate, you can remove it and install this. So you would drop this in first, and you don't have to worry about the mesh because it's pre-meshed. and then you lift that. This goes in here. You put that in, and then you re-screw it, so it's just those two screws. Or you can have fun and just remove the motor. Oh, another quick little thing. If you're ever removing this or installing it and kind of get stuck, just roll the car back and forth so that the gears kind of move and then mesh. They'll mesh in. That's all you do. But here we go. So you try to tuck this in as best as possible, right in here. That's what this is for. It's just to tuck the wires in. And then you place the mount and you start sliding in as you get your finger out of the way. And that's it. And that is all you do. And I'm holding the motor as I'm doing this, but this works. So now you got to feel everything feels good. Now you can install the final piece, which is this block here. It's easier if you move this way, and then this will just drop in place, and that is it. Once it's there, all you have to do is just attach all 4 screws, and they are all the same size. Therefore, it will not matter which goes where. The main thing is to just start putting the screws in, get them close, do not tighten them until all of them are in there. And then once all the screws, let's see, I cannot see, there it is. Once all the screws are there, then you can begin tying them all. But right now, you are just getting the screws close. Right? Let's go to the other side. And let's see. Now I can start tightening everything up. So I did this one, then this one. I'm going to do this one, and then this one over here. Then once you tighten it, it's very important you do not over tighten this. But once it's snug, everything is snug, you want to roll the car. Make sure everything works well. So there it is. I'm going to stick this tube in there. And yeah, everything feels good. So that is it for the reassembly at this point. All you would have to do is just drop a body on there. If you have a Ford GT body, put your Ford GT body here, and you're finished. If you do not have a Ford GT body and you have a Mustang body, you're going to have to replace these mounts, get the mounts from the Mustang body, which look like this, which are included. And all you do again, remove those 2 screws, these 2 screws, this will lift up, that will lift up, and then you will have that mount, that looks like a U, go in there, and then 2 little posts that go in front. Then you can swap them out, and then once you do that, you can go ahead. I was trying to mount it, I dropped it, and then just mount your body on, either way. This body has seen better days, but I love driving this. But that is it. So that is the complete assembly for the car. There is another project that's going to be coming up involving one of my Ford techs. It's going to be this one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.